A guy who relies solely on his looks to make a living with his voice. In a drunken haze, snatched the guitar from a street-sing girl. Little did I know, 20 years of preserving my purity were thrown away just like that. As I lingered in regret, wondering if she was Q Green Gem, a voice suddenly sounded beside me. A voice I'd only heard in my dreams. I turned my head to look. The person sitting next to me was none other than my music teacher, and Radiant Grace, the one who haunted my dreams day and night. She and Radiant Grace was the one in my heart. At that moment, the events of last night began to slowly surface in my mind. After going through a breakup with that heartless girl of fate all time travelers must face, I decided to treat myself to 3 pounds of white liquor. Who would thought that bit of alcohol would get me completely wasted? I staggered through the streets, humming one glass to freedom, one glass to death. As I stumbled along, the sound of a guitar echoed from the overpass ahead. There I saw a girl standing on the bridge playing and singing. She wore a white face scarf, so I couldn't see her features clearly, but her figure was truly breathtaking. The scene reminded me of my final year of high school, when our school welcomed a beautiful new music teacher. She had just graduated from university and came to our school for her internship. Upon arriving at North Star, she claimed the title of school goddess. No one dared to challenge her. All the girls admired and idolized her. How could a girl be so beautiful? The girl on the overpass. Her eyes were strikingly similar to those of my music teacher and Radiant Grace from back then. The only difference was her voice, which carried a hint of weariness, lacking vitality, as if deliberately tinged with melancholy. It was like the feeling of those sitting here, weaving their own sadness into their emotions. Alcohol makes even the timid bold. Normally, I'd never do anything so reckless. But now, as the girl paused to rest after finishing a song, I tossed her 10 coins, told her singing was decent enough, but the song itself was awful, grating to the ears. After saying that, I grabbed the guitar beside her, seeing her guitar taken. The street-sing girl remained calm as a celestial being, her eyes as clear as a spring. Beneath her scarf, the corner of her mouth curved into a slight smile, but she said nothing more. She only raised her hand, stopping the crowd of passersby, those who'd listened for free all evening, from continuing to curse at me. I didn't care about the scolding from a few young guys. After all, my life was already this pathetic. What's a few more stabs in the back? I leaned against the railing looking down at the guitar strings. A guy who once chased poetry and distant horizons, only to escape that world entirely, never to return. At that moment, a hand placed a microphone on its stand, bringing it to my face. A faint fragrance wafted past my nose. I looked up. A pair of clear eyes seemed to carry a smile, as if encouraging me. I remembered for years ago, that girl next door music teacher. She was the youth of everyone who met her. In the days we spent together, I barely spoke to her, but even so, she filled that summer of mine with memories. Recalling those old times, I couldn't help but softly start to sing. In that moment, whether it was hurried passersby or leisurely strolling tourists, all stopped in their tracks. The young guys who'd just been criticizing me now shut their mouths tight. Only the moonlight shone brilliantly above. The veiled girl on the bridge, her beautiful eyes flickered gently. The breeze from afar seemed to come alive, carrying the story across the lake. Thinking of this, looking at an Radiant Grace before me, my head suddenly throbbed like it was splitting, seeing me dazed. And Radiant Grace smiled brightly, her stunning beauty still as pure and innocent as ever. You performed pretty well last night. In the future, my villa will be yours. Hearing this, I was overjoyed. The next second, I wanted to say I'd take responsibility for her, but she suddenly changed her tone. The songs you sang, I couldn't find any of them online. I asked, and you said you wrote them yourself. In giving you this villa as payment, sell the songs to me. How about it? Looking at her blazing eyes, I remembered she studied music and was a music teacher. Back in high school, she participated in all sorts of music competitions. In college, she signed with a mid-tier entertainment company. I thought everything would go smoothly, but who knew right after signing, she was met with unspoken demands. Because of that, and Radiant Grace refused and was shelved by the company until she graduated. She came to North Star School as a music teacher. Her contract wasn't over yet. She couldn't break into the entertainment industry, but being a music teacher didn't breach the contract. It's just 8 years, right? She could wait. Over these years. And Radiant Grace, who sings and dances so well, wrote plenty of songs. But sadly, the songs she wrote were deemed worthless by me last night. Teacher, you want to buy my songs? I let out a slow breath, as if unburdened, yet also sighing. I thought, last night I'd given my 20 years of purity to her. Of course the songs I wrote were amazing. The passers-by loved them. Last night we nearly caused a traffic jam on the bridge. Recalling last night, I couldn't help but feel wistful. She had written no fewer than 30 songs, each performed dozens of times, at street corners or small plazas. But from what she observed, no one really cared. Those who stopped or sat to listen to her sing were only interested in her beauty and figure. Hearing this, I didn't hesitate anymore, and agreed outright. At that moment, I had just time traveled here, thinking the days ahead would be tough for a while. Who knew I'd have a start fit for a king? The villa by North Star Lake, worth at least 20 or 30 million. I'd long heard that and Radiant Grace was a wealthy heiress. Her family had bought her a villa early on, in the prime area by North Star Lake. Thinking of my parents who toiled half their lives, still working hard for the dream of wealth, I couldn't help but feel a pang in my heart. Show me the sheet music for the songs you sang last night. And Radiant Grace reached out to me, her former student. 3 days apart, and you must see with new eyes. Hearing this, I felt a bit embarrassed, mainly because I was so drunk I blacked out. I forgot everything I sang last night. Besides, I'd only been in this world for less than 2 days. Where would I get sheet music? Even given time, I couldn't produce any. I'm no real composer. In my past life or this one, I only know how to play and sing a few songs, and only at a decent level. Of course, it's not just about sheet music. We need to sign a contract too. Once signed, this house is yours. Tempted like that. I didn't pretend anymore, teacher, and I don't even remember what I sang last night. And Radiant Grace smiled faintly at the corner of her mouth. She wasn't surprised. Someone to drunk is likely by reborn. Teacher, and do you remember any of the lyrics? I think I might recall something. Seeing this, and Radiant Grace told me to wash up and eat breakfast first, then we'd talk. She recorded last night, no rush now. And Radiant Grace handed me the clothes the maid had washed from last night, then returned to the living room. While the maid prepared breakfast for her and me, she sat at the piano, the glass doors wide open, the fragrance from the garden quietly drifting in. Living by North Star Lake for over 4 years. For the first time, and Radiant Grace felt the air here was truly fresh, like a sword forged and hidden for 4 years, now drawn from its sheath, ready to stun the world. The day of liberation was finally near. 8 long years of contract. Just a few more days and it would be completely over. Did the sun rise in the west today, or why are you up so early? And Radiant Grace, immersed in her emotions, received a call from her best friend G Purple Joy. I just got dumped. Are you free today? Come drink with me? And Radiant Grace snapped out of it laughing. I knew you were in love before. You refused to admit it. Now you're admitting it, right? Wasn't it because I was afraid you'd laugh at me that I didn't say? What's embarrassing about love? Why would I laugh at you? There was a pause on the other, and then G Purple Joy spoke. I met him online. So what if you met online? Plenty of couples, even married ones, meet online. Another pause. G Purple Joy said, I'm 4 years and 9 months older than him. Oh my, so you're the older woman with a younger guy. No wonder my best friend kept this romance hidden. If she'd told me from the start, I'd definitely have teased her. Did he dump you? And Radiant Grace stood by her friend, with a look of united front against the enemy. No, I dumped him. He didn't mind you being older. So why'd you dump him? Was he only after your money? That's not right either. You're so beautiful, with a perfect figure. What guy wouldn't like you for you? Money? What money? Don't put it so crassly. He didn't even know my family's well off. 3 years together. I always acted broke. Rarely spent money on him. G Purple Joy said sadly. And Radiant Grace found it odd. Then why'd you dump him? I'm not sure. Maybe we were together too long. I felt like continuing like this. Just one look and I could see our whole future. I didn't like that feeling. Was he unambitious? And Radiant Grace asked with a giggle. G Purple Joy replied after a moment. Not exactly unambitious. He just graduated college. It's too early to say, but I think he's unlikely to achieve great success. Earning $10,000 a month might be possible, but a dazzling career. A fortune in the millions, definitely not. Purple Joy, your standards are high. I've been a teacher for 4 years and still haven't hit 10,000. Though I really wanted to tease. Who told her to be my best friend? Fine, it's over. We need to look forward. Don't think because I'm older. But and Radiant Grace knew. This was probably her first love. She must poured her heart into it. But now it's fine. What's bothering me now is that my music career can't move forward. The company wants me to switch to acting. Though I studied acting. I don't like acting. Maybe the timing isn't right. When the time comes, you'll be famous whether you want to or not. G Purple Joy's songs. And Radiant Grace felt they weren't as good as hers. Not being famous is normal. Thinking of the song you sang last night. And Radiant Grace's heart burned with excitement. Women who've just been dumped have volatile moods. G Purple Joy suddenly got very irritable. But in 2 days I have to go film. Maybe 2 or 3 months before I'm back. Radiant Grace. I'll ask you one thing. Are you free tonight or not? Hearing this, and Radiant Grace sighed. Purple Joy. I'm afraid I'm not free during the day. But tonight should work. Then we'll meet tonight. Before hanging up, G Purple Joy's mood improved a bit. A little smug. She revealed to Radiant Grace. 2 big films she's in will air during the summer break. After that, Radiant Grace congratulated her friend. Promised to finish her daytime work. To hang out with her tonight. Just after hanging up, my voice came from behind. Teacher, and why so happy? My best friend just called. Said she's got her own career now. No longer mooching off her family. Hearing this, I showed a look of disdain. At her age, still mooching. And Radiant Grace didn't know what I was thinking. Signaled me to come eat breakfast. Said last night a kind person helped. Brought you from Peach Blossom Island. I didn't want to trouble them more. Called Aunt Wu. Asked her to help bring you back. Want to go out for a walk. After listen to the recording. After breakfast. And Radiant Grace was eager to see the sheet music. But she wasn't in a rush right then. I never expected I'd soon have a villa of my own. Hurriedly told her to get the recording. After that, Radiant Grace led me to the music room in the villa's annex. After a series of operations, the embarrassing singing from last night played. My face flushed red hearing it. I completely forgot what I sang last night. When the song finished, the amazement from last night reappeared on Radiant Grace's face. This is the second song. I forgot to record the first, but I remember a few lines, something about elegance and poise. You were sitting freely on the bridge. I heard you sing, she said, her eyes blazing as she looked at me. You wrote these 2 songs right last night after we got back. And Radiant Grace listened to the recording, searched every lyric online. Of course, found nothing. With the internet so advanced now, even failed songs can be found. The only reason they couldn't be found is they haven't been released. Last night she couldn't wait. Ran to the living room, dragged me drunk as a corpse up. Asked then, you seem to carry a sadness as big as the world. Said if no one claimed them, you wrote them. I wrote them. I nodded, admitting it. After all, in a parallel world, no one would expose me. Where's the sheet music? At home or in River East? The house you rent? Last night she heard you mumble a few lines, saying you didn't want to go home. Afraid your parents would worrying. Wanted to go to your rented place in River East. I thought the songs I wrote were bad. No one wanted to hear them, so I didn't say more. And Radiant Grace got anxious. Don't tell me you threw them out or sold them as scrap. Seeing this, I sighed. I burned all the sheet music. Phew. And Radiant Grace lightly punched me. Burning sheet music is fine. If burn some too, well, rewrite them. Hearing this, the corner of my mouth curved into a smile, just waiting for her to say that. Then I'll sing you notate, okay. So, all day and Radiant Grace and I stayed in the music room by 4 in the afternoon, and Radiant Grace looked at the table full of rough drafts, her eyes shining. Mission accomplished. Let's stop here for now. I hesitated, asking Teacher Ann, should I head home first? You promised to sell me those songs. No selling them to others behind my back. And Radiant Grace treated the sheet music like priceless treasures. I sold them all to you already. Today, I think there's still time. Let's go handle the house transfer paperwork. That fast? Of course, as payment for you. These songs are mine. You can't sell them to anyone else. Oh right, remember to pay the $90,000 monthly mortgage. 15 years to go. I wiped my sweat. What did you say? Looking at in Radiant Grace's pure and innocent expression, I suspected this fairy-like teacher was a scheming little sprite. A $90,000 monthly mortgage. Enough to suffocate my whole family. $90,000 might as well kill me. Teacher, and do I look like someone who can pay $90,000 a month? And Radiant Grace's eyes were clear, like a fairy untouched by worldly dust. You did that on purpose, didn't you? I didn't pray to the heavens. Oh heavens, and Radiant Grace stuck out her tongue, embarrassed, saying, I watched too many videos, thought everyone was rich. If you can't pay, sell the house. I clutched my forehead. A house isn't just some ordinary item, let alone a high-end one like this. If lucky, it might sell in a month or two. If unlucky, it might take years to find a beer. Forget paying the mortgage for years. I can't even afford 1 month. So what do we do? And Radiant Grace blinked. I don't have money either. My monthly salary isn't even $10,000. The mortgage is all paid by my parents. So how much savings do you have? I asked, unwilling to give up. And Radiant Grace got even more embarrassed. Maybe 10,000, but next month's salary will push it a bit over 10,000. My face darkened. You're not planning to buy my 9 songs with 10,000, are you? This house is for you. And Radiant Grace explained. She's not that stingy. Hearing this, I felt even more ashamed. Why are we back at square one? The problem is I can't accept it. I can't afford the mortgage. And Radiant Grace was in a bind. I can't exactly tell you to make me your girlfriend. Mentioning girlfriends, I immediately thought of my ex. Panicked, I said no. I don't want my ex-girlfriend. She left a psychological scar that can't be erased. It developed a resistance to older women. And Radiant Grace was very surprised, indignant, asking why. Am I that bad? You're my teacher. Teacher-student romance is frowned upon by heaven and earth. I explained, and Radiant Grace frowned. You're not my student anymore. Not even a high schooler. You've graduated college. Thinking about it, I saw her point, but still refused. You're older than me. How old are you? And Radiant Grace persisted, 21. I deliberately shaved off a year, trying to widen the age gap with her, creating a bigger obstacle. It's not that big a difference. I'm only a year older than you. And Radiant Grace also shaved off a year, lowering the difficulty. Yeah, only a year older than me. I was full of doubts. Did I guess wrong? Even a year older is still older. I don't like you. My firm attitude made and Radiant Grace a bit angry. Besides me and the house, there's nothing else for you. Figure it out yourself. Seeing the ball kicked back to me, I got anxious. Sure enough, older women are useless. They don't know how to care for others. Unlike younger girls, who can't even open a bottle cap, even need their boyfriend to feed them water. My ex-girlfriend was like that. When thirsty, she'd lie there, refusing to get up, demanding I feed her, bringing the bottle to her mouth. She still wouldn't drink, demanding a different way. So do you have anything else of value? I pressed on. The kindness of an Radiant Grace letting me stay one night wasn't enough for me to give her 9 songs. Not even 1 song. Besides me and the house, there's nothing else of value. And Radiant Grace said bluntly. Half an hour later, I drove a red sports car, angrily leaving. The immature boy from back then has grown up, watching her beloved sports car disappear. And Radiant Grace felt reluctant, and also very unhappy. A little fairy like her took the initiative and was rejected, though she was only joking at first. Seeing the other's attitude, it was clearly serious. Without a hint of hesitation, this blow hit and Radiant Grace hard. They say where you fall you get back up. She wanted to regain her confidence through me leave mortal in the red sports car. The more I thought, the more I felt cheated. I heard this car's worth over 3 million, but to me it's useless. It only seats 2. Parking's a hassle and there's a fee. Honestly, with how often I go out, keeping this car is worse than taking a taxi. This isn't a gain. It's taking on a burden. Selling the car, the transfer hasn't been done, and Radiant Grace wouldn't agree to transfer it. She insisted on selling herself and the house. The more I thought, the angrier I got. Isn't that Radiant Grace's car? Looks like a guy's driving it. On a car passing the red sports car, a refined head poked out from the back seat. A woman still full of charm. Is Radiant Grace out? The middle-aged man driving turned his head, puzzled, asking, "Didn't she say she'd be home waiting for us for dinner?" Not long after. Radiant Grace, why are you standing here, looking so down? A car stopped in front of Radiant Grace's villa, and a refined woman stepped out. My boyfriend ran off. Didn't want to meet you two. And Radiant Grace said angrily. The refined woman was delighted. My good daughter's finally in love. What a big surprise! After parking, and Heaven Harmony also got out, beaming with joy. Just now, was that your boyfriend driving your car away? If his daughter was dating at her teens, and Heaven Harmony would've been upset, feeling his fine cabbage was stolen by a pig. But now his daughter's been out of college for 4 or 5 years, still single. And Heaven Harmony wasn't just upset. He was thrilled she's finally in love, even almost meeting the parents. If only he and his wife had arrived earlier. It's your dad. Can you ask your second uncle to drag him back? And Radiant Grace clung to Heaven Harmony's arm, acting coy. And Heaven Harmony laughed loudly. If your second uncle randomly grabbed people, that'd break the law. Would you want him to lose his badge? Just tell your big uncle directly. No need for such trouble. He broke the law, deliberately took my car, and doesn't plan to return it. And Radiant Grace said fiercely, I don't need the house or him. That petty man's too hateful. Let's go inside, let's go inside. White Deer laughed. She didn't believe what her daughter said was true. Young couples arguing is normal. Inside the house, White Deer asked curiously Radiant Grace, what's your boyfriend like? And Radiant Grace still looked angry. He was a student I taught in my first year as a teacher. Now grown, his wings hardened. White Deer snickered, hardened wings or something else. She quickly regained composure, a bit surprised. Your first year teaching was 12th graders, right? Back then you two already in Heaven Harmony wiped his sweat. Is this still his good daughter? And Radiant Grace snorted coldly. Who cared about him back then? It's fine, it's fine. Noticing now isn't too late. White Deer was thrilled. For years the weight in her heart was finally lifted at this moment. When her daughter was in school, she worried her beauty would lead to early love. After graduation, she worried she wouldn't find a boyfriend or marry. Now not too early, not too late. Just right. Too early she might not cherish it. Too late she might think she's not good enough. Floor 39, the deepest part of Golden Tiger Manor. My home, Leaf Mortal. Leaf father. Night Radiant Year and his wife, Promise Heart, were cooking in the kitchen, talking about family matters. After their son's final college semester, the couple felt much lighter because I started interning then. My internship salary wasn't high, but enough to support myself. Their son could fend for himself. Tonight Radiant Year and Promise Heart, that was already impressive. Before, they not only paid the mortgage, supported themselves, but also handled all sorts of social obligations, paid tuition for their son, covered living expenses. Their annual income of nearly $180,000. Yet they lived like dogs. When I first entered Central University, extracurricular training centers were banned by the state. Tutoring was one of the targeted areas. This was a big blow to an excellent student like me who wanted to be independent. In Sand District City, Central University students were highly sought after by parents. When hiring tutors, they often preferred Central University students, unable to use my strengths in my field. Compared to students from regular schools, I at Central University had no advantage in being self-reliant. 3.5 years of college doing all sorts of odd jobs. I still couldn't cover all my living expenses. Only in my senior year internship did I stop asking for money from home. Sigh. Careful, the oil's splashing. Promise Heart scolded her husband. Though their son graduated no longer needing support, the mortgage still wasn't paid off. Still a mountain pressing on the couple. They still didn't dare spend freely, thinking of their son graduating, recently preparing to go full-time. Night radiant year sighed in relief. It's fine. Mortal supporting himself now. Before he finished, my voice came from the living room. Mom, Dad. Night radiant year's face shifted slightly. That kid's back to mooch food. It's not even the weekend yet. Promise Heart was thrilled. Hurriedly ran out of the kitchen. Mortal, why are you home today? Their son worked in River East, a bit far from home. He rarely came back. It's a long story. Are you to cooking? Seeing Mom Promise Heart in the living room, I felt a warmth. The memories of this body merged. The emotions etched deep into my bones. If not for that, after yesterday's breakup, I wouldn't have been so devastated. The food, the rice is done. Just enough for two. Mom'll make a few more dishes. Before finishing, Promise Heart rushed back to the kitchen, mooching food as expected. In the kitchen while cooking, Night Radiant Year watched his wife wash vegetables, grumbling about the son mooching. But deep down he was happy. His wife was thrilled to see their son. Even if he wasn't satisfied with him, he was happy too. How much can he mooch? Just cook your dishes. Promise Heart snapped. Outside the kitchen, I was familiar with this house. Touching this, looking at that, this is my home. The one-bedroom, one-living-room apartment rented in River East. I'll move out tomorrow. The lease isn't up yet. Moving now, the landlord will only refund the deposit, not a cent of the rent. Thinking of this, I was annoyed. Thought working and renting a place could save money on hotels with my ex-girlfriend. But after renting, my ex only came to my place a few times. Not that in the past 6 months, I was only intimate with her a few times, but she preferred hotels. Said my apartment had poor soundproofing. Whether hotels had good soundproofing didn't matter. No one knew each other anyway. Do your thing and leave. Avoiding awkwardness if you meet again. Forget it, it's over. Sighing, I went to my room. Neat and tidy, clean and bright. Mom Promise Heart kept it spotless. Looking through the big window, I saw Peach Blossom Lake and the lake's musical fountain. But it wasn't time for the fountain yet. Back then, to get their son into a good school, Night Radiant Year and Promise Heart worked like oxen. Bought this house. After their son went to college, the couple considered selling it to stop being slaves to the mortgage. After much internal struggle, they decided to keep paying it. First, enduring for more years their son would graduate. They'd be much lighter. Second, this house's location was really good. Not as prime as Spirit Lake houses, but not bad either. Third, use this house as a wedding home for their son later. His marriage would be much easier. As for the couple's lifetime efforts, wasn't it all for their son? Get him into a good school, pass a good university, marry a good wife. They could retire to the countryside, farming and raising livestock, no problem. Asking them to buy another wedding house for their son, they couldn't afford it. Expecting their son to buy his own wedding house was too hard. Even Tsinghu and Peking graduates sell pork. Can't Central University graduates sweep streets? Just because he's a Central University grad doesn't mean his future's guaranteed to shine. The Knight family set the table. Tomorrow's Friday. Why are you back tonight? While eating, Night Radiant Year frowned, asking the food's good. I didn't care. Missed Mom. Yeah, missed you. Night Radiant Year got goosebumps. You planning to eat the whole table yourself? I'm almost full. Promise Heart beamed. The rice and soup are just right. If you don't eat, Mom and mortal will. Night Radiant Year quietly ate. I picked up a piece of vegetable for Promise Heart, filially saying Mom stop working overtime on weekends. If graduated, I can help the family financially. Night Radiant Year frowned. Interned for over 5 months, have you sent money home? With a villa beckoning ahead, I confidently said, I'm still interning, right? 2,000 a month, rent takes more than half, don't rush. You'll earn big money later. Knowing rent's expensive, why rent can't you live at home? Giving the rent money to mom wouldn't be better. Not mentioning rent was fine. Mentioning it Night Radiant Year was furious. Commute over an hour, so what? In San District, tons of office workers do this. In bigger cities, even more so. Only you can't handle it. No sense of household, no idea how costly rice and oil are. Just eat your food. Promise Heart kicked her husband, angrily saying, Mortal just got his degree. You already want him to soar. Night Radiant Year had to quietly eat again. Seeing the meal almost done, I suddenly said, Mom, Dad, I came back tonight to discuss something with you. Night Radiant Year ignored his son, kept sipping soup. What's that? Promise Heart still smiled, very indulgent of her son. Can we sell the house? Get a bigger, better one. The words shocked the heavens. Night Radiant Year nearly choked on his soup. Promise Heart was stunned. Sell the house. Get a bigger, better one. This house. She and old Night Slave to pay the mortgage almost ended up begging on the streets. A bigger, better one. Did their son hit the jackpot? Why change? Promise Heart asked. Night Radiant Year, either from coughing too hard or too excited, face red, neck bulging, couldn't calm down for a while. I have a friend. She has a villa. Doesn't want to keep it. Wants to give it to me. I carefully chose my words. Night Radiant Year finally calmed down, hoarsely sneering. You have such a rich friend. If so, they must have been drunk, giving you a villa for no reason. The other day I got a call. Said I won a prize. A phone worth over 10,000. Just paid 250 for shipping first. Then they'd send it. I was drunk, not them. I slightly regretted bringing this up with my parents. But thinking of such a huge sum, 9 songs sold outright to an radiant grace. Not only did I gain nothing, I took on trouble. Brought home a burden to worship. The more I thought, the harder it was to let go. Sell this house in Golden Tiger Manor. Could get over $2 million? Enough to cover 2 years of the villa's mortgage at Wine Dance. I don't believe in 2 years. My annual income still won't break $1 million. Give it to me, I hesitated. Promise Heart asked, there's a catch, right? I nodded, yeah. Pay $90,000 a month for the mortgage. 15 years to go. That villa will be ours. Knew it. Night Radiant Year sneered. There's no free lunch in this world. Just work hard. Do an honest job. A $9,000 monthly mortgage. Your parents have lived like ghosts for years. $90,000, you trying to kill us. Other things Promise Heart might defend her son, but this she couldn't defend. Mortal, don't dream of getting rich. We're ordinary people. Work hard, do an honest job. Don't think too much else. The National Anti-Fraud Center said, as long as you're not greedy, not opportunistic, no one can scam us. Lectured by my parents in turn, I glumly went downstairs. Sat at the musical fountain square listening to music, watching the fountain. I frowned, thinking how to make money. At least get in Radiant Grace's villa first. Of course, I couldn't get it. A few months later, unable to pay the mortgage, the house was seized and auctioned by the bank. Owing a ton to the bank, starting life from scratch. Working a job is impossible. I can't work a job my whole life. But doing business, I don't know what to do. Amid the music, a group of kids by the lake played, dodging water sprays from the lake, playing hide and seek, laughing joyfully, thinking about the future. A surprised voice sounded beside me. Mortal, I looked up. A tall guy stood beside me, grinning. Horse Rising Fly. I grinned to standing up. It was Horse Rising Fly, my high school buddy. 3 years of high school. Class 7, always won first in the school basketball tournament. Thanks to me. And Horse Rising Fly's big contribution. If not for me, and Horse Rising Fly being too good at studies. Top seeds for key university exams. Right from freshman year, the school basketball coach would recruited us to the team. I saw you from afar, thought it was you. Didn't expect it really was. Horse Rising Fly patted my shoulder excitedly. Back from Flower City. I was excited too. 3 years of high school, we were inseparable, going to and from school together. But in college, except for the first year when we stayed in touch often, from sophomore year with our own circles, and both having girlfriends, contact dwindled. Even during winter and summer breaks living near Peach Blossom Lake, we only met a few times. Second semester senior year, Horse Rising Fly studied in Flower City, found an internship there, and decided to settle there later. Back not going there anymore, my close buddy asked. A hint of gloom flashed in Horse Rising Fly's eyes, but quickly vanished. Then he smiled. From now on I'll stay in Sand District. Contribute to the hometown. You're not back to drag the hometown down, are you? I said awkwardly. Right now I'm dragging it down. According to official data, Sand District's per capita GDP this year hit 132,000. I intern half a year monthly salary just over 2,000. Converted to GDP only 12,000 to 30,000. Seriously dragging the hometown down. Hearing me, Horse Rising Fly felt a bit awkward. My parents worked over 20 years. Still dragging the hometown. I just graduated. Dragging a bit is forgivable. Those damn beauties. I thought of in Radiant Grace, that rich type. It's because of people like her that my average gets pulled up. When did you get back to Sand District? Why didn't you tell me? I sat down to chat with Horse Rising Fly. Got back today. Horse Rising Fly took a cigarette pack from his bag. Offered me one. I was stunned. The honest guy. Horse Rising Fly used to hate smokers most. Last year when he came back, he refused cigarettes from friends. Now he's buying and smoking them. What's going on in the sound of the musical fountain? We sat at the square smoking, talking about the past and present, about work and life, about love. Neither mentioned a word. We're not at the stage of too many men to few women. Young people's top task is working and earning money. With money, love comes naturally. The IT industry in Sand District isn't developed. Salaries are much lower than in the four megacities. You back in Sand District still looking for IT jobs. Talking about work, I asked Horse Rising Fly. I didn't switch fields. After a pause, Horse Rising Fly said, seeing my old classmate hesitate, I couldn't help but ask curiously. You studied computer science. Even if IT salaries in Sand District are low, they're still high-paying jobs. Why switch fields? I think I can be an online writer. Horse Rising Fly said shyly. I suddenly perked up. Online writer. Hearing my old classmate mention online writing, it was like I wakened some skill. A spark flashed in my mind, dispelling the fog clouding my head for days. The books I read in my past life appeared vividly in my mind, clear as day. Yeah, I wrote all 4 years of college. It's my dream. I feel it's now shining into reality. It can bring me income, not less than an average office worker. Horse Rising Fly didn't notice my oddity. Talking about his dream, his face showed pride. 90% of online writers don't earn royalties. Of the remaining 10%, 90% barely earn enough. Can't even support themselves. But Horse Rising Fly was supporting himself. How much are your monthly royalties? Suppressing my excitement, I asked Horse Rising Fly, hesitating a bit. Horse Rising Fly said not very stable, but am confident. By year end it'll drag the hometown down less. So your income this year might break 100,000. I was happy for my old classmate. Almost there. Horse Rising Fly was a bit shy, still dragging the hometown down. Just now, he was a bit smug about his royalties. I don't think I need to look for a job anymore. It'll be an online writer too. I suppressed the urge to go home and start writing the books in my head. If I don't write them, I'm always afraid they'll vanish. By then I'd cry and not know who to turn to. Horse Rising Fly was stunned. Hurriedly said, mortal, don't be impulsive. Writing novels isn't as simple as you think. Not simple how? I took a drag of the cigarette, full of confidence. Horse Rising Fly gave a wry smile. He saw himself from back then. After reading a few online novels, he thought he could do it too. Even write better than them. Easily earn 100,000 a month. When he actually started writing, he realized it wasn't so. Horse Rising Fly wasn't a prodigy. The first 3 years of college he wrote with passion, from writing for minimal subsidies to earning diligence bonuses. In his senior year, he finally got it. Suddenly understood. Studied the market, stopped indulging himself. The book he wrote finally earned a quality badge. Earning the quality badge proved he could barely walk this path if the genre only relied on main subscription channels. The income wasn't much. It further proved writing shouldn't be a career. The genre Horse Rising Fly wrote leaned heavily on subscriptions. The income, though meager, was there, so he planned to do it full-time. The pressure's huge. Did you often read online novels during college? Horse Rising Fly asked me 3 years of high school. He never saw me read online novels. We only studied and played basketball. No other hobbies. I shook my head, haven't read any. Horse Rising Fly hurriedly advised, mortal, listen to me. To walk this path, you either have exceptional talent or you're extremely diligent. Exceptional talent goes without saying. Extreme diligence means reading a lot, writing a lot, researching a lot. The first few years it's hard to break in. You might not even get in. I spent 3 or 4 years. Now I can barely say I've entered the field. A golden supercar drove into Wine Dance not long after, and Radiant Grace and the supercar's owner stepped out. My parents came to have dinner with me. I'm half full already. Let's go to the Lakeside Music Bar for a drink. Sound good. Leaving the area, and Radiant Grace said to her best friend G Purple Joy, I don't feel like eating tonight. Then let's go to the music bar. G Purple Joy's mood was low. That jerk of a man, a day and a night, and he hasn't contacted her. Almost forgot his contact info. Either he blocked her or deleted her. Even so, it's unforgivable. If he wanted to find me, he'd find a way. He just doesn't want to. 6 minutes later, and Radiant Grace and G Purple Joy entered a lakeside bar. Not all bars are loud and chaotic, with frenzied padrones. This music bar was very quiet, playing soft lyrical music. The two friends found a reliable table. When ordering, G Purple Joy chose the 7,200 package. Dragon God champagne set, 24 bottles, with signature snacks and a special extra platter. Just so you know, I'm drinking 5 of these 24 bottles max. The rest are yours, and Radiant Grace said. Each bottle's only about 200 milliliters. Drinking here is about enjoying the ambience and service. If you want cheap and good, go to a street stall. I got dumped, and you're still nitpicking. G Purple Joy snorted coldly, and Radiant Grace also sneered. You two were together for years, and you hid it from me, right? Her best friend G Purple Joy felt guilty, couldn't get mad, then said glumly, your intuition's spot on. The first time you suspected, I was already in love. And Radiant Grace was shocked. Wasn't that 2 or 3 years ago? G Purple Joy nodded. Been in love 3 years. And Radiant Grace wanted to comfort her friend, but couldn't find words, because she was pretty mad. What kind of best friend? Dating secretly for 3 years under her nose. The two of them, as long as G Purple Joy didn't leave Sand District for work, basically met once a week, eating, shopping, watching movies, and such. In that situation, G Purple Joy still hid her 3-year romance from her friend. Don't be mad. I told you why I didn't say. Back then I wasn't hopeful about this relationship, so I didn't tell anyone. G Purple Joy said miserably. This was your first love, right? And Radiant Grace asked. Yeah, first love is hard to forget. With the nickname Sleeping Beauty, G Purple Joy was great at sleeping, but last night, she was sleepless. Couldn't sleep well all night. When her dog of over 10 years passed away, she cried her heart out. But when it was time to sleep, she fell asleep instantly, slept soundly, though the next morning she woke up crying again. It didn't affect her sleep. You dumped him. Don't act like you're dying. And Radiant Grace wasn't happy. It's not like your ex cheated or did something unforgivable. G Purple Joy brushed the hair from her forehead. She knew how to maintain and dress up, still at the peak of her beauty, on the 10-kilometer path around the lake. In sight, her beauty, aside from losing to an Radiant Grace, probably had no rivals. Actually, if had been the one to suggest breaking up, I probably wouldn't be this heartbroken. G Purple Joy's eyes reddened. The one who leaves first isn't necessarily relieved. She kept remembering yesterday, her ex-boyfriend's back as he left the hotel room, lonely and lost, like the whole world abandoned him. Heart-wrenching. Being abandoned feels worse than abandoning someone else. Enough, no more sad talk. I'll perform a piece for you. And Radiant Grace suddenly stood up. The music bar had a small stage. During holidays, the bar would invite performers. But today wasn't a holiday. No one was on stage. With no other customers yet, and Radiant Grace got excited, wanted to perform a bit on stage, give her friend a surprise. And Radiant Grace and G Purple Joy had been to this music bar many times, familiar with the owner. And Radiant Grace wanted to perform. The owner naturally didn't refuse, especially since she ordered an expensive food and drink package. It didn't affect the bar's business, didn't disturb other customers. This request was trivial. Seeing her friend go on stage, G Purple Joy sat at the table calmly. The two often went to KTV. She'd heard her friends sing too much, including current hit songs, and songs her friend wrote herself. This time, her friend probably wanted her to hear a self-written song. G Purple Joy had heard nearly all her friend's songs, didn't dare compliment them. On stage, and Radiant Grace sat on a high stool, holding a guitar. After adjusting the mic, besides the owner and staff, her only audience was her friend. No matter, and Radiant Grace just wanted in a public place to release her emotions. In the music room, alone, and Radiant Grace rarely felt like singing, only on stage. Did her desire to perform ignite? The gentle guitar strummed, and Radiant Grace looked at her friend at the table. G Purple Joy smiled at her, but right after hearing just a few lines, the smile on G Purple Joy's face faded. Never heard this, did her friend write it? She felt like herself over 2 years ago. Her friend seemed to grow up overnight. This song was a bit special. Just hearing it, G Purple Joy felt it wasn't on the same level as her friend's previous songs. Listening this far, G Purple Joy was stunned. The lyrics were simple but pierced straight to the soul. Her friend had transformed into a butterfly, a phoenix reborn. G Purple Joy stood up from the table, couldn't sit anymore. That was disrespectful to this song, to her friend. This song wasn't it about her friend herself, sealed by the company for 4 years, then another 4. Yet she wasn't worn down. Her path to stardom was rough. She accepted being ordinary, but refused to rot in mediocrity. She was a free bird, always waiting for the day of liberation. On stage, and Radiant Grace recalled last night when I sang this song. When I sang the line, "You don't belong to this world. No need to care about the truth." She clearly saw tears in the corner of my eyes, but looking again, they were gone. She didn't know what this line meant to me. A bit mysterious. The bar staff in shirts and vests stared blankly at an Radiant Grace on stage. This beautiful girl looked like a star. Could she really be a star? She sang so well. The owner was also surprised. A new hit song recently. Soon the song ended, and Radiant Grace put down the guitar, returned to the table. G Purple Joy looked at her like she didn't recognize her friend. Staring at an Radiant Grace. "Stop staring, still me, sit and drink." The wine and snacks were already served, and Radiant Grace sat first. Used a toothpick to pick a piece of fruit. G Purple Joy sat down, grabbed a bottle and took a big gulp. Then said Radiant Grace, "This song is about you, but it's very different from the songs you wrote before. Release it, promote it well, it'll definitely be a hit. It can resonate with so many people. The lyrics have my shadow, and theirs too." And Radiant Grace was a bit smug. Her friend, so picky about music, praised this song so highly, proving her judgment wasn't wrong. But what's infuriating? That petty man Leaf Mortal looked down on her. That disdain wasn't intentional. Back in college, some guys chasing her deliberately acted different to catch her attention. Ridiculous, how could she fall for such tricks? But Leaf Mortal's look and expression today weren't the kind of catch-and-release tactic. He genuinely looked down on her, didn't want to deal with her. So strange. She's only 2 years older than him. Why look down on her like that? He even lied saying he's a year older. 1 year has nothing to do with a generation gap. Completely negligible. If you think it's good too. When my contract's up, this will be the first song. And Radiant Grace grew more confident. G Purple Joy caught the hidden info in her friend's words. Asked, I think it's good. Who else did you sing it for? And Radiant Grace froze. Then smiled sweetly me. Last night I performed at the Peach Blossom Island Arch Bridge. More tourists stopped than usual. They all loved this song. G Purple Joy didn't ask further, drinking while asking about her friend's creative process. The prettier a woman, the better she lies. And Radiant Grace was seasoned, spun a ton of lies. Before it's released and marketed, she didn't plan to tell her friend the truth. That because of this song plus 8 others, she was ready to sell herself, only for the songs to flop, not making a ripple. Compared to her friend, dating a guy 5 years younger, it's even more embarrassing. Hard to say out loud. Menha after 3 rounds of drinks. G Purple Joy's eyes grew hazy, her lips slightly savoring tastes good. And Radiant Grace didn't dare drink much to women out drinking, even if it's a music bar, not a chaotic nightclub. They couldn't both get drunk, or the consequences would be unthinkable. Tastes like what? And Radiant Grace didn't hear clearly. G Purple Joy thought her friend was asking about men. Tastes like what? Then got more excited. And Radiant Grace was confused. Looked back at the wine on the table. Her friend meant this. Doesn't seem right, it's spicy in the mouth. No smooth feeling at all. Radiant Grace, let me tell you, men are way better than you imagine. Never been in love. Even if I have nothing in this life, I can't live without men. G Purple Joy's eyes sparkled, and Radiant Grace's head was full of black lines. This friend's getting naughtier. How do you know I haven't been in love? And Radiant Grace said defiantly. G Purple Joy was stunned. Then asked, you've been in love? When? In love now, just confirmed today. And Radiant Grace bragged, but deep down she was upset. G Purple Joy was shocked. Today, what guy's so lucky? And Radiant Grace pouted, your ex wasn't less lucky. Her friend was also stunning, face like a star. Her ex was truly blessed. That's over. Tell me, who are you dating? G Purple Joy pressed, and Radiant Grace huffed. Face not red, heart not racing. You don't know him, someone from Peach Blossom Lake High School. Peach Blossom Lake High School. G Purple Joy frowned. Isn't that my ex's old school? And Radiant Grace's boyfriend is from Peach Blossom Lake High School. G Purple Joy thought of her ex, also from Peach Blossom Lake High School. But 4 years ago, he graduated high school, got into college, and left. Her friend's boyfriend is probably like her friend, a teacher. An ordinary teacher, winning. And Radiant Grace, his ancestors must be smoking green. G Purple Joy was a bit jealous. The boyfriend, in her friend's words, and Radiant Grace, a true wealthy heiress, foolish with money. She didn't expect her friend wasn't dating some teacher at Peach Blossom Lake High School. In love. She even less expected her friend wasn't dating anyone, just lying to her. What drew you to him? G Purple Joy asked curiously, and Radiant Grace didn't hesitate. Musical talent. G Purple Joy was skeptical. Is your boyfriend also a music teacher? Not exactly, but his musical talent far surpasses mine. Though. And Radiant Grace was mad at me. She genuinely admired his musical talent. G Purple Joy nodded silently. Hayes got musical talent. Then no doubt about it. Her ex only knew how to play and sing. Very ordinary. Nothing to do with musical talent. At Peach Blossom Island, I sat smoking and chatting with my old classmate. Half a pack gone. We parted, each heading home. Horse rising fly rushed back to right. And I couldn't wait to get home to start my career. And Radiant Grace's villa I was determined to get. Not for anything else. Just to fight for a breath. After returning from wine dance, I always felt and Radiant Grace was deliberately making it hard for me. A villa like that, who could want it? Give it to anyone, they couldn't handle it. Those who could are rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. 90,000 monthly mortgage. 80% of people in the country can't earn 60,000 in a year. So when I got home, it was already evening, past 9:30. Greeted my parents in the living room, washed my hands, and went straight to the study. 3 rooms, 1 living room house. One room used as a study. In this study, an old computer. I started it and immediately opened a writing document. In this life, I've only read a few online novels, none finished. But in my past life, I read tons. 20 years of online novels, each year a few top ones. I've read almost all of them. Normal people read and don't remember everything, even forget many details. But I leave mortal am no ordinary person. If awakened super memory just copy a book. After opening the document, my indecision kicked in. Each year's top few books, some boosted by the fame of great authors. But even so, I thought a newcomer writing such works, the results wouldn't be bad. They had to have real skill first to become great authors. So, no need to doubt the commercial value of top works. This one then, after hesitating, I started writing. Life is the greatest miracle in the world. The four directions above and below are called the cosmos, though sometimes there's no fixed place to seek. From ancient times to now, it's called time. Time may grow, but its destination is unknown. This is chapter 1, the bronze coffin in the starry sky. In less than 20 minutes, I finished writing. Then, I revised parts that might be errors in this world, like the term for spacecraft number 2. After revising, I kept writing chapter 2, still under 20 minutes. Chapter to plain inquiry done. Revised. I was overjoyed. Awesome. Super memory let me copy exactly. No need to think. Only revising errors took a bit of brain power. Preparing to write chapter 3, I got a message from Horse Rising Fly. Since I was set on his path, Horse Rising Fly couldn't dissuade me. Just sent me some materials, like about online novels. Things like the Golden 3 chapters. Truly a brother who'd gone through thick and thin. When Horse Rising Fly returned from Flower City, leaving behind for years, our bond showed signs of returning to old times. Back then we lived and died together. Helping a friend needed no reason. Anyone hitting one of us was like hitting both. Besides our parents, even the school bullies didn't dare touch me and Horse Rising Fly. Look at our builds. One of us could take 2. Together weren't we like an army? Didn't class 9 have 3 guys on the school team? And we still beat them to a pulp. Playing basketball isn't just about skill. It's about build and stamina too. I finished the chapters. Check them for me. After getting the materials before reading them, I sent the 2 chapters I wrote to Horse Rising Fly. That fast! Rising Fly was shocked, just got back. He hadn't started typing yet. Still brewing. And I already said I finished the chapters. I'm a prodigy. I replied. Horse Rising Fly got the document started reading. Before finishing, halfway through chapter 1, he stopped head aching. As expected of a newbie, forced himself to finish chapter 1. Horse Rising Fly wanted to hit someone, buddy. What the hell is your chapter 1? The main character hasn't even appeared. Horse Rising Fly messaged questioning me. True hasn't appeared. I was a bit embarrassed. Forgot when East Bro wrote this. He was one of the 5 great gods of online novels. The 5 great gods or 5 supreme gods in the field. Unrivaled status. The existence all online writers looked up to. The 5 great gods could skip the Golden 3 chapters for new books. Newbies can't. If the first 3 chapters don't spark conflict, don't have a small climax, you might not even get a contract, let alone become famous. Read the materials I sent first. Sharpening the knife doesn't delay chopping wood. I wasted 2 or 3 years to write a quality novel. Barely entered the field. You need to prepare mentally. Last time advising you find a stable job to support yourself first. Write slowly in your spare time. Building experience is more reliable. Horse Rising Fly earnestly advised. Did you read chapter 2 yet? Ignoring my friend's words, I asked for feedback after reading. Horse Rising Fly reluctantly read chapter 2. After reading, he tried to set aside bias. Gave what he thought was objective feedback. You've got a knack for creating curiosity. But just that. For a newbie to reach this level, it's truly prodigious talent. But seeing my friend's comments, I had my own plans. East Bro was already a prodigy. Plus this was his peak work. Even if the opening didn't suit newbies, it couldn't hide its brilliance. But buddy, The golden 3 chapters, man. Newbies shouldn't write slow-paced. The start needs to get to the point. Unless you really have the skill to write hundreds of thousands of words, even 1 million words. The online novel world is vast, only a few books. Newbies writing new books enduring hundreds of thousands to 1 million words to rise up. Horse Rising Fly was heartbroken. His friends opening to chapters showed him what prodigious talent is, but he didn't support his friend rushing into this path. No stable job, no savings. Being a full-time writer is huge pressure, affects writing state. Besides, his friend's prodigious talent wasn't used right. Just digging a hook, creating curiosity isn't enough. No rush, quantity is king. Quality is secondary. I write fast, monster level speed. I comforted Horse Rising Fly. Horse Rising Fly was completely speechless. Others say quality is king. Quantity is secondary. How's it reversed with me? Asked Horse Rising Fly about novel site rankings. Listened to my friend's advice. I ended the chat. Already had a plan in mind. Currently the top traffic original novel site, called Prime Literature. It holds half the online novel world. Half the famous authors in the field came from Prime Literature. Horse Rising Fly didn't advise me to write on Prime Literature because it's a graveyard for newbies. The competition's too fierce. I'm not a newbie. I'm one of the 5 great gods. Of course I didn't listen to my friend. I couldn't wait, immediately registered an account on Prime Literature and activated the author zone. Tried a few pen names, all taken. Annoyed, I entered Undefeated East. Surprisingly not taken, but I didn't rush to delete. Entered Rising Sun East, also not taken. Then used this better than the first. Then created the book title cover The Sky, also not taken. I was very satisfied. Everything going smoothly. The villa at Wine Dance was in sight. As for taking both the person and the villa, I never thought about it. Maybe because distance and time create beauty. And Radiant Grace, my dream goddess. Meeting again, the mystery was gone. Thinking of my ex-girlfriend, I was a bit embarrassed. My ex was also my goddess. Didn't she hurt me the deepest in the end? Mortal. Tomorrow's Friday, not sleeping, not working. After 11 at night. Promise Heart came to the study urging me to sleep. I saved the document saying, Mom, I got a rest day. Not working tomorrow. Can't say I got fired. Lest Mom worrying. Really, then you still need to sleep early. Don't stay up too late. Young people nowadays lose hair a lot. All from staying up late. Promise Heart said, Mom, don't scare me. I touched my thick hair. Not scaring you. Young people at Mom's company who stay up late. Half their heads are bald. Promise Heart was serious. You're still young. Got some capital. Turn off the computer and sleep. I was scared by Mom's words. It's true. Staying up late causes many problems. Balding's just one of them. 5 minutes later, I just laid down to sleep. The phone rang. Seeing it was in Radiant Grace, I was startled. After all, without her permission, I drove her supercar away. Saying I wasn't guilty would be a lie. Teacher, and it's so late. Why aren't you asleep? Answering, I asked stubbornly. Can't sleep, and Radiant Grace was annoyed. My best friend came to my place tonight, drunk out of her mind, and Wu just came, helped me bring her back from the lakeside. I was speechless. Teacher Anne, is your house a drunk tank? Exactly, women who got dumped are scary. The wine and food doubled. Terrifying. And Radiant Grace's eyes showed horror. Your best friend got dumped. I sympathized, fellow wanderers of the world. Otherwise, would I let her drink like that? And Radiant Grace was mad, all because of her ex. If I meet that guy, I'll curse him till his head's bloody. Her friend's boyfriend cheated. I asked, must be. Otherwise, why wouldn't Radiant Grace's friend drink like that? Yeah, total jerk. My friend's so outstanding. Beautiful, great figure.